Psalm 61 talks about being overwhelmed and God being a shelter. The Lord is to David a strong tower and the rock that is high above me. Psalm 27 spoke of being placed up high on the rock to lift David's head above his enemies. David also looks to abide in the tabernacle forever and talks of trusting in the shelter of God's wings. God is David's strong tower, but he seeks shelter under God's wings. I love the imagery of God's wings. I often picture myself tucked in under his wing. I feel safer there than in a strong tower. He himself is my refuge and shelter and hiding place, and I just want to be with him. David speaks of dwelling in God's tabernacle forever. That's living in God's presence continually. We get that as believers who are filled with the Holy Spirit. We get to abide in his presence, and it will last forever. He will never leave us nor forsake us. We just choose to remain with him. Psalm 62 talks of God's power and mercy again, but its repeated phrasing is about God being David's rock, refuge, defense, and salvation. A refuge is a place of seeking relief, not just a temporary covering for your head. A refuge is where you find peace, provision, protection, a place where you are helped along, not just dealt basic needs. Psalm 63 has David rejoicing in the shelter of God's wings, and Psalm 63 is rejoicing in the God who is a refuge. He's the one that satisfies our needs and longings. David thirsts for the Lord and is satisfied in him. Why? Because of his power and mercy. But above all, it's God's loving devotion that is better than life itself. When we need refuge, when we've been beaten down because of sin, either our own or that of the world, we can run to him and find mercy. His loving devotion welcomes us. His power will protect us and deliver us and restore us. He is what satisfies our needs and longings. He's the only one to run to in order to find refuge, to find shelter from the storm.